Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thursday, 17th of July. Looking pretty good on the old charts as well. ETH's been pumping. I thought someone was supposed to be quiet. Yeah, bro. I did say that as well. I also did say maybe we might have quite a quiet like July into August, and then it might like heat up. But we're getting the pump, so it's I mean we all deserve it for sticking around so long. Um, so in terms of local liquidity, there's some really local stuff at 121k um, above us, short liquidity. That'd be interesting because we do have a local swing high at about 121.9, 123, 122, sorry. To the downside, we've got some local stuff at about 115.5 as well, and that's the very local liquidity at the moment. Before I look at the weekly, let's actually just check on the long to short ratio. So, still more shorts in the market, but we did peak at nearly 54% short accounts, which is quite interesting. Obviously, some longs are coming back into the market. Um, Nothing really to be too scared about yet, but is potentially gearing up for a nice little pullback, especially as this sort of trend is kind of arcing up now. If we start seeing it back and increase back towards like 55, 53, and we get up to 50-50, I'm going to be expecting some sort of pullback in the market. But still, still looking pretty good. Yeah, on the order book, let's actually go to the hourly quickly. Yeah, so we're at the volume node. We have made a low low here from this high as well. So potentially, I mean, I do have some shorts set at about 122k just at the highs, but we're obviously still above the node at the moment. I'm not sure if this closed below on the 4 hour, but we'll have a look in a second. And on the 15 minute, the order book is very, very dry. We do have some stuff at 120 and 120.2, which is the very, very local high. I'm not sure. Does that line up with the local liquidity? Yeah, that lines up the local short liquidity as well. So interesting. That could be an area of short-term interest for potential reversal. But yeah, we've also got some heavy, well, not heavy, but some decent long liquidity just around 115.5. So if we take that and then get some closes above, um, I mean, and the long to short ratio is still heavily short, I don't see why we can't have another, at least like a grind up in the market. Um, it's kind of, yeah, we are laddering some stuff in at the moment. This is all new though, so we don't know how legitimate it is at the moment. But the order book's actually pretty thin, and it's been pretty thin all the way up in this move, apart from some shorts getting hit. But yeah, it's looking fine, and yeah, it's uh it's looking it's looking fine. That's all I've really got to say on that. Let me change my screen. We'll get started on what everyone wants to see. Everyone wants just to look at charts and altcoins at the moment, don't they? So, sup, Lensby, how's it going, bro? Nice to see you in here. BK's back as well. Haven't seen you in a while, brother. Can you give a breakdown of long to short ratio graph? Yeah, so I mean, very simply, let me just go back quickly. Um, we also have one on the MDX dashboard, which is actually really good to use as well because the MDX dashboard actually splits it between retail and top traders on Binance. So this one at the top is basically the total amount of contracts or positions on Bitcoin. So it swings way faster and it's also way less reliable because it can change like literally 5 minute to 5 minute. People that are like opening loads and loads of contracts, this is what it's gonna go into. But this is basically only for Binance. But this is basically the total accounts that are long or short. So basically, someone can be like 10k short or 20k long on the same account, which means they're in total they're long. So everyone looks more at long accounts, long to short accounts, because this is basically a total amount of positions that there are in the market. So, and Binance is the biggest exchange. So basically, this is a little bit less reliable, but you can use it for short-term timeframes. But this is kind of more what you want to look at. And then obviously there's a breakdown on the exchanges here. On the dashboard, there's actually a really good one because it splits it up between retail and top traders. So if you basically get a divergence, which is a difference between retail and the top traders, then it's basically signaling that it's going to go against retail. So right here we see top traders are mostly long, retail are mostly short because they're 58.7% short, they're only 41.2% long. Top traders are mostly long, so basically you kind of want to put more onus on the top trader side because they get it right more often, and retail never get it right. So this one's actually really good to use as well because it splits it up like that. So as long as retail is short and top traders are long, you're basically expecting more upside in general. Obviously, you don't trade based solely on this, but yeah, it's very important to look at long to short ratio as well and the changes in the long to shorts in the market. Yeah. So, what's up, brother? How you doing, man? It's been a while since I've seen you in here. Feeling the energy. So let's have a look at Bitcoin at the moment. I'll just take that off because that actually did a new low. So yeah, we've have actually bearishly retested the weekly open. We also have 1 wick in the combination band with a red dot on the daily time frame on the oscillator. We also have retail stablecoin demand actually very, very high. So last time we got to these levels, we actually did one more drive up and had a little bit of a grindy down session. So basically something like this, one more, and then like we grind it down back into support. Potentially just saying that we might get a little bit of a pullback, especially after that previous daily candle closing below the weekly open. But yeah, it's obviously still like we're obviously still looking for higher on the higher time frames. Like the trend is not broken. If we come back down to Q3 in this area, depending if the long to short ratio goes massively long, we might get like a lower high and then a further breakdown. But as of right now, I'm going to be a longer if we do get a pullback back down into this area. Um, yeah, that just looks like a bearish retest as of right now. We also have a new low on the 4 hour from there. So you can also pull a fib on the 4 hour. And if we do get up into here, this will be the 4 hour combination band. I will probably take a short with a stop above the high. And then if we come back down into the weekly open, I'll de-risk it massively just in case we do start like arcing higher because the long to short ratio is still short. And then hopefully we actually set a new low, and then that'll be a really good position for potentially taking it down into maybe 112k where I'll look to potentially long, and then also the Q3 as well down here where there's probably a lot of liquidations and liquidity. But yeah, it looks like the short liquidations kind of lines up with the combination band and the Stuba. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at on Bitcoin. I'm not really massively interested in Bitcoin at the moment because ETH is doing really well and the alts are doing really well as well. But obviously, you want to keep an eye on it. Bitcoin DOM, we're actually seeing a further breakdown. I actually thought we were going to get a little bit of a bounce into. Let me turn this off just so it's a bit easier to see. I thought we were going to get a little bit of a bounce here when we started like wicking on these daily candles and maybe bearishly retest the Q3, but we've actually just broken straight through it back down to support, which is obviously really good for alts, and we've been running. But yeah, it's looking good, man. It's looking good. Not really too much to say on this. ETH Bitcoin as well. So I actually drew this out, and it was quite. I actually drew it because I wanted to exemplify also the time frame. Basically, we might get like a divergence below and then regain and get that little pop, but we've actually got it really fast, haven't we? It's actually just happened so quick. So I'm going to delete that now, and we're basically up at resistance for altcoins now. This is definitely, probably. I mean, you're expecting this to potentially be some sort of pullback here, and then maybe find support on this level again, which I'll be looking to long alts heavily. But I mean, the ETH Bitcoin chart, it looks really good, doesn't it? I mean, we've been talking about this ever since this regain over here, just being like, okay, this is just rocket fuel. And I kind of see this chart just doing that and then just doing that literally up to here. And then maybe we'll talk about possibly the end somewhere in this level. or massively de-risking my portfolio at least, or my old portfolio. But yeah, it looks good, and yeah, ETH actually is broken through the yearly open at the moment, which is really, really fucking good. Like this is actually crazy. Might go and hit all the way up in December. So I've been talking about basically 3,300 and the amount of liquidity that was here since February, March. So yeah, that's actually quite interesting, quite nice to see. I do have a decent amount of ETH spot that I kind of accumulated. I think it was around here. I bought some ETH just around here and I just held it from there. Um, but yeah, it's looking really good, guys. It's just looking really good, and it's one of them ones where it's just pumping and it's just not giving you enough chance to like. I feel like a lot of people are sidelined. We did talk about the hold of one of these dailies. I'm not sure where it was. It's probably come off because it was a few days ago now. But of a long, I think it was maybe here. No, the time doesn't quite match up there. Maybe it wasn't on Tuesday. It might have been. I'm not quite sure where it was actually, but there might have been actually a decent long if anyone took that on ETH, especially on the gain of this weekly open as well. But yeah, I mean, it's just looking really good, doesn't it? I really like it. Sup Marvy, how's it going, bro? Yeah, I do remember 3.3 to 3.4. Yeah, I mean that's been my like at least short-term target for months, literally months. So I might have to sell a bit of spot just after this, or maybe even maybe a bit to USDT, and then I'll have patiently wait for a little bit of a pullback, and then potentially look at some entering some other altcoins. But I'm already like my bags are pretty much packed. Like they're pretty packed at the moment, so I'm feeling pretty good. Um, yeah. Does anyone want to talk about anything in particular? I mean, from my last Pro Sigs post, I've got the most giga position on Popcat. It's all the way down from 2.7. So I literally got it on this wick, I think, or maybe even here. Yeah, it might have even been here. It's done absolute numbers. Like this is up 50% raw. But yeah, we look like we're kind of running into some resistance now, especially also along here as well. So let me just have a look at the daily time frame actually. Getting some bear divs on the 4 hour. Yeah, we're up against. This is just looking potentially quite short-term toppy. We actually haven't closed the candle above that daily swing as well. So yeah, just like I'm saying, I'm basically selling a lot of my trades from down here, and I'm potentially going to look for re-entries if we get a little bit of a pullback. I mean, that definitely looks like it potentially wants to pull back, but yeah, you just haven't really got a breakdown yet to go with it. We actually held this really nicely. We held this low really nicely, and then regained, and then just had a nice little other pop. So yeah, on technicals alone, there's potentially a short, but I just think the short button should be a tiny bit banned at the moment. For me, I'm not really looking for shorts because I'm not actually on the charts that much, but I am looking for pullbacks on 3x cross, and yeah, I will be setting a lot of orders, especially if we start getting the breakdown. But yeah, Pepe also did me really well. I've literally sold off my whole trade on Pepe now, literally from the lows. There's just too much stuff in this chart, but I'm going to take this off. Literally from the lows of here, I've sold off my whole trade now, and I'm just kind of just waiting for a pullback. I really want this to potentially get the red dot and then see like something like that, and then it starts like going like that on the retail stablecoin demand. And yeah, this is also going to be around that swing as well, so quite interesting. Definitely areas to potentially pull back on all these alts, but yeah, we haven't really got breakdowns to go with them yet. One thing that's doing really well is Fartcoin. So does anyone take this long from here? This thing is gonna god candle at some point. I am so sure of it. Again, we're at resistance here. Getting a little bit overbought on the oscillator and the retail Stochastic demand, but yeah, we're also in resistance. Yeah, also the daily band is there as well. So I do think this is going to god candle at some point. So if this does see a little bit of a pullback, potentially back down into here, I'm just going to be accumulating more. I mean, I've accumulated a lot in between $1.90, so I'm pretty chilling on Farcoin, you know. But this is one thing that I definitely think is going to do well. Farcoin and hype. Yeah, I'm just not really like other coins. Yeah, they could do. They're obviously going to go up if we hit alt season, but Farcoin and hype are two of the things that I just think they're going to. I'm just thinking like, why am I going to buy some other alts if I can just accumulate more Farcoin and hype? So I did actually. Yeah, I mean, I've been telling you guys in this stream for a long time, since in between $1.90 that Farcoin is going to be a good buy. I just have a feeling that this thing's gonna god candle at some point. But yeah, did anyone take this trade that we talked about on Tuesday? I think
You're on those
just out of
hypey
interest.
farts, bro.
And
Hype up the fart coin.
I mean, I'm
Fart
already
hype.
long from. I'm long from here, I think, and I'm long from like here somewhere.
Let
So
me look at
I'm
the chart
giga
one
long
sec.
on this.
Gigalodon long on the hyper farts. Let me look at
Let's
this.
have a look. Oh, we got Maxi Boy in the building. Popcat Sniper. Yeah, I'm back with
Yeah,
the
I'm here,
Popcat, but
bro.
I've actually. Uh, I can't hear you, Max. By the way, can anyone hear Max?
Oh, really? I was
Can you hear
talking.
me?
Can you guys hear
You
me?
guys can hear me for sure. Um, where do you think ETH will top out this cycle? Well,
Yo, I think it might be your end, brother.
it remains to be seen. Obviously, I think 4K is going to be very
Jack.
difficult to get above, but I also thought we were going to stop off a lot more at 3.3, where all this liquidity was. I literally been talking about this since like February, March. We seem to just be going straight to December, so it looks like a very, very, very strong move. And if we find support in the yearly open, like this could actually do some absolutely crazy things. But I really don't know. To be honest, I actually just don't know. I think it's going to be very difficult to get above 4K on a consistent time frame. Um, and also, we actually made a new low on the weekly from here, so there is going to be a bearish Stuba from here to here, up around December, around like 3.7, 3.8. There is the potential for that, and yeah, it's just it definitely could do a bit more than maybe I was thinking about though, looking at the aggressiveness of this move. It's very interesting times actually in altcoins. But yeah, it's looking good, and the ETH Bitcoin chart's also looking really good. Like this is definitely going to go up and hit something like in between December and the yearly open for sure. Um, like we're obviously going to see probably a little bit of a pullback here while it gets a little bit boring, and then I just definitely think we're going to see that at least. And then maybe that will be it. That might be the alt season, guys. Who knows? I'm definitely going to be massively de-risking my portfolio at that point. But yeah, it's exciting times. I actually don't really have an ETH price point to top out, because first it was 3.3 to 3.4 where I thought we were going to stop off at first, and then obviously 4K I think is going to be very hard to break above, um, and potentially even the top, but it remains to be seen how far ETH Bitcoin can actually go. Popcat Sniper, yeah, raw dogging. Things starting to look a bit toppy, would be wise to look for shorts. Well, my short button's banned at the moment, but if you're on the charts a lot and you see some breakdowns, then potentially I do have some potential short orders hit just set on Bitcoin around 122. Just here, the stock they're going to be about 120. It's going to be about 121.7 to 120 to 4, and the stop's going to be just above the high. So it's about a 1.1, 1.5% stop. And then if they do get hit and we come back down to weekly open, I'm going to massively de-risk it because potentially we could just start arcing up, and like the long to short ratio is still heavily short as well. But this is definitely a lower low on the 4 hour. But yeah, it's also regained, and we're also heavily short. So I just feel like shorts should be low key banned at the moment. But yeah, this is just a hedge because I'm massively long on all of my accounts as well. Like massively long. And also, Bitcoin could just grind a little bit while alts go crazy, which I wouldn't even mind. And it's just going to cover me, especially if we come back down to like 112 and retest the previous all-time high around, yeah, literally 111.5, 112. We also got that daily close below the weekly open as well. So yeah, it's one of them ones where we're obviously at resistance, but you want to see breakdowns on altcoins first before you start shorting them because altcoins are going absolutely bonkers at the moment. But yeah, I closed my Pepe trade. Popcat's still running. Fartcoin's still running. Hype, obviously, we're still long. And yeah, if anyone wants to chime in with anything that they want to look at, feel free. But yeah,
Oh,
me waiting for my shitcoin to
turn
pump.
your microphone
Looking
up,
for a
brother.
spike up in New York to trap longs. Yeah, potentially.
Jack, what are you doing, man?
Graphane having a slightly better day
All right,
today.
everyone
Yeah, I
spam
do
the
own some
chat.
graphane.
Spam the chat and tell them it's not working.
Oh shit! I had my
Spam the chat hard and tell
Yo,
them it's not
sorry, I can
working.
hear you now, Max.
Bro, I was fucking saying that
Sorry,
you're hyping up the farts.
sorry, bro. I had
Bro.
my mic volume was all the way down. I was like, I can't hear him. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, turn
It's
your
fine.
speaker
Oh
on or
yeah, I
something
just
because you obviously had
saw.
it.
I just saw. I
I
just
was
saw.
like, bro, you're hyping up them farts hardcore. It's like the
Bro.
fucking fart hype is big time giga.
Yeah. Oi, I've been talking about Fartcoin for a while, especially in between $1.90 because I fumbled the bag at like 30 cents. I fumbled the bag. So yeah, we've accumulated a
Oh.
nice amount of the farts.
I'm trying to get my band working. One sec. I'm on Algo Master. I'm trying to get rid of the fucking red and green trending line. I just don't know. We did an update and now I'm trying to find it. So I just want bands without the actual Algo Master trending lines. How have you got it on your chart, bro?
Do you know what you could do? I've got it on Trendmaster,
Oh yeah, I use
not Algo
Trendmaster as
Master,
well, but
because I want the W reversal with the bands. So I literally just use Trendmaster for the bands.
yeah, I'm gonna get Fartcoin up. One sec.
Yeah, Fartcoin's gonna god candle at some point, man.
Give me a sec, 2 secs.
Let's have a look at the chat. I'm expecting a deviation of 2.5 on ETH, then a pullback. You probably mean 3.5, right? Yeah. What's your price target, ETH? Well, maybe Max can talk about ETH a bit more because he was basically saying that it's definitely not going to get above 4K, and I definitely see that as being heavy resistance or at least a larger pullback. But I mean, the aggressiveness of this move is actually quite surprising. I definitely thought we were going to stop off around 3.3, 3.4 and see a bigger pullback after taking a lot of. There was so much short liquidity on ETH basically since February that we've literally just taken and smashed through at the moment. So yeah, ETH Bitcoin also looks really good to go up to like maybe 0.04, which potentially would lead to maybe even 5k ETH. But yeah, it's interesting. I don't actually have a price target for ETH if I'm honest. I definitely think we're going to see a lot of resistance around the 886 and the I think it's the December level, right? Let me take that off. Oh, a bit of lag.
Bro, yeah, with ETH. Um, yeah, it's about I don't know, it must have been a couple of months ago where I said that. I was like, I don't think Ethereum's going to break $4,100. I was
Mm,
just saying it's probably going to rally up to around it and then come back.
mm,
Like, I don't think it's going to be a scenario where it just breaks straight through and continues.
mhm,
That's when Bitcoin tops. Having said that, we don't know yet. if Bitcoin has topped. So maybe Bitcoin has. Nobody knows, and
Mm.
there's no way of looking at the chart to unknow to understand that. Actually, if you were looking at the charts in a completely like rational sense, you would say that the top probably isn't in because you're in a bull market, you're above all of the moving averages, the volume's still increasing. We haven't hit any of the metrics on CBBI, even PI top cycle. You haven't got everyone, all of the wallets aren't in profit, not over 95% profit. So all of those things are saying probably not. Doesn't mean that it can't be. It's just a low probability that it
Mm.
is. So I think yeah, ETH, it's yeah, I've said from the beginning like it probably won't break 4,100 until Bitcoin tops, and then it will. But I think it goes up to around there, and then it comes all the way back down, probably finds another higher low, and just fannies around for ages sideways. And it's been doing that for like I don't know when I said that. When it nuked all the way to its all-time low was when I was kind of saying it, or maybe like a few weeks before it. I don't know how long ago that was now. Probably going back. I don't know how many months now was that.
Mm.
What's the date of the actual huge nuke to the very low?
Beginning of April.
Yeah, so it's literally already, yeah, it's been like 2, 3 months.
Mm.
So I would say we've probably got 2 months left underneath 4.1 if Bitcoin hasn't topped, and then maybe 3, depending on how far it's going to go back down. Let's have a look at the ETH baby.
I wonder where the
Yeah, it's
weekly
still got a ways.
combination man. See, this is actually also quite interesting though. Let me actually get a fresh chart. Let's get the
I
Coinbase
think it's
monthly.
going to probably stop around. If you do a fib on it, I reckon it's going to stop probably at around like between 3.8 and 3.6, maybe a little bit higher. Maybe it goes to 4, and then I think it stops,
This is
and then
really
it's going to come all
interesting
the way back
though.
down, and then actually start up.
Yeah, on the combination man, the weekly is actually arcing up massively, which is indicating a breakout. This was actually going straight across here, which is why when we had a lot of the liquidity at 3.3, 3.4, which I've been talking about since like end of February, I thought we were massively going to stop in between, probably around this like yearly open around here, and maybe see something like that, and then a longer sort of like form up to 4.1, and then that might have capped it. But we've actually had a really, really aggressive move up to it. And if this weekly candle closes above the yearly open and this starts arcing up, like we're gonna go to 4.1 very, very quick, like 4 at least, really, really quick, and then potentially
Yeah, yeah,
start doing that. Like,
yeah. Four. I think 4.1 is the last. 4.1's the last level. Yeah. I
mm,
just don't think you're going to go all the way to 4.1 and then go 4.2, 4.55. Like
yeah,
I
of
just don't think
course,
that's going to happen on this move. But obviously, I did say that 3 months ago.
mm, things
So
change.
we've been below it for 3 fucking months, and I did say 3 to 6 months. So, well, I said probably 6 months, but if we do 4 months, 5 months, like that's still pretty
Yeah,
good. I would
yeah,
just say that if you think about what ETH's done now, Bitcoin's managed to, in that period of time, considering Bitcoin was already up. It's gone to 125,000. So I'd still say the play was to stay in Bitcoin,
mm,
but then the play will be when Bitcoin tops, to cycle into Ethereum, because
mm,
obviously that's what always happens. Everyone goes from Bitcoin to ETH or USDT when Bitcoin tops, and that's why Bitcoin's going down, because they're buying ETH and they're buying USDT. Less pressure on the buy. So like I just think that's what you're gonna get. And I don't think the altcoin season has even people don't understand. Like the altcoin season hasn't begun yet. The altcoin season is going to really begin when Bitcoin tops out and becomes extremely boring in the future. And I think the altcoin market will eventually become like a $1 quadrillion market,
mm,
and Bitcoin will probably be like 50 trillion. So that's what I think. But I think altcoins will eventually be the market to be a part of because Bitcoin will just be boring. It'll just like go up, beat inflation 30% with higher vol in terms of annualized return. And then everyone will be chasing these alts all the time, be way, way more alt chasing, just similar to how everyone's chasing the new crazy stock or share in the stock market. And Bitcoin and gold, everyone just doesn't talk about. They just own a little bit of it and watch it go up in time to hedge against inflation. That's what's coming, brother.
I definitely like this is definitely gonna happen on the weekly chart for ETH Bitcoin, like very, very soon. Literally just this. It's coming. It's a coming. So we got a few things. Let's see at per. Yes. Render. Yes. So we don't have Brummy in here, but I actually was on stream with Brummy at the time, and Brummy bought a shit ton of render right at the low on spot, and I was like, yeah, bravo, bravo, brother. So yeah, Per. Let's have a look at Per. Who trades Per, by the way? Just out of interest. This looks actually really interesting. So let's just do something like maybe this. Yeah, we're right on the AA6. We've also got mega supply just below us. That's really interesting. This looks really good actually for a potential long. Kind of basically everything is lining up. We're actually bulldoing on the retail stablecoin demand as well. This is very interesting. I like this a lot. You could potentially see a wick into just here around 185, but this actually looks mighty interesting. Yeah, I actually quite like that. That looks really interesting. You got the combination band, you got overlapping support, you got bull divs coming in on the retail stablecoin demand. Not quite on the 4 hour oscillator yet, but you're probably bull diving, yeah, on the hourly time frame. Looks quite interesting, bro. Again, you could see a spike, like a wick down into 185 where the hourly combination band is, but this is definitely starting to look quite interesting. I actually quite like that. That's cool. So what is Per? Is it the meme coin for Hyperliquid, right? What's this? Yeah, you don't want to trade this on high leverage though. That's cool. I like that a lot. We do have a couple worrying wicks to the upside on the weekly open, and we are obviously locally in a downtrend, but this is potentially just gonna grind back down into support and potentially hold its low here, and then start doing something like that back up. Definitely interesting. I like that. That's cool. Render. There's too much stuff on that chart. Yeah, so again, I feel like I'm going to be a little bit of a broken record on a lot of these alts, but some of them have really broken some interesting levels just here. We are actually at this at some swing point resistance, and we're also in the daily combination band with the oscillator super overbought at the moment, and also the retail stablecoin demand is very high. So it's an area where you would expect a potential pullback, just down into support. But again, it looks really good. Potentially this has already been retested as well. So potentially, if you just come back down and hold sort of some of these levels on the 4 hour, it looks really good for just more upside, doesn't it? Let's delete some of these. I know Brummy bought a shit ton of render, literally like down here. I was very tempted, but I didn't pull the trigger. Being in Japan's so weird because like I wanna join it. I miss Vikings daily updates, but they're at 10:30 for me, so I'm usually like out at a bar doing something. And then most of everyone's lives are like 1
Getting on
a.m.,
the
3
Raz,
a.m.
brother.
Yeah, bro. Soaking up the
Yeah,
nightlife.
you're almost yeah, Japan's mad. The time zone. It's like it's kind of like Australia.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same, I think.
Australia's even worse. Yeah, I think actually it depends on where you are in Australia, but Sydney I think is the same.
Mm.
The other side, like Tassie and Perth, is slightly different. But then you've got fucking California's even bad, and that's the like. But yeah, I think Japan is like ultimately like the opposite
Yeah,
of
I mean, you were saying like Dubai
kind
is
of
the best
England and
time zone.
Australia.
I actually disagree. I actually think for all my, I love and hate England like London, but London time zone is literally the best time zone to trade ever. It's literally the best because you can wake up for the
Yeah,
Open.
yeah, it is. Yeah,
America opens
UTC.
at 2:30, and then you can also stay up for Asia Open at midnight, and it's literally just so good.
Now
Uh,
London is definitely the best for trading. I would just say that Dubai is better for like a lot of other things because you can
yeah,
still tap into Asia. But
you're in the
in
center
terms
of
of
the
like
world as
lifestyle and
well.
shit, Dubai is bang.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bang in the middle. But it's London is good for trading. because most fucking like the London Stock Exchange is like massive and like everyone fucking orientates around that time, and you have Greenwich Mean Time as well, which
Mm,
is like a lot of the time shit like came from the United Kingdom, from the modern time zones anyway, in terms of like when we did the English Empire shit. But like, yeah, it's a good time zone. But
a lot of
I would
shit
say
came from
probably if you
us.
had to choose between three, yeah, well, modern stuff. If you go back thousands of years, and you look at like the Egyptians and the fucking Byzantines and shit. But
Greeks
yeah,
and
in the
stuff.
last like since like the 1400s. But yeah, but it's like I don't know. Japan is I'm gonna come back out there as well. I'm up for an Asia trip. I'm gonna be probably coming out to Singapore like September-ish, and then I'm gonna hit up Bali, and I might even do another little Japan trip. I'm on it. I want to do it. Me and Pete are gonna go do some content out in Japan. Go and find the last samurais. There's only like 150 There's only 150 true samurais left to go and get a samurai sword made by a true master. They're called samurai masters.
Hmm.
So we're gonna go out and find one and be like, "Yo, bro, you need to make me a sword before you keel over and die," and do content all about it.
You should go to a maid cafe, bro.
Yeah, wait. I went to Japan before. What is a maid cafe? I think
It's
I
just
may have been to one already.
yeah, they're just all in like maid outfits and they just like pour you drinks and like do weird shit. Like, it's kind of funny.
Yeah, that's what you find everywhere in Japan. They all fucking dress up mad and they all look like aliens. They're like
Literally,
crazy dressed up aliens.
yeah, they look like anime characters.
Can't, I went there with my dad last time. But yeah, they look like these little like they're just the thing is Japanese culture, like they propagate a different look to like the West.
Yeah,
Like the
that's what
what
I
they
was
put
saying to my
out.
friends as well. So like in the West, it's all about like masculine, like hairy, big. But in Japan, it's like being like cute. Like they don't like facial hair and stuff. So like, I'm basically like the beauty standard in Japan, pretty much.
Yeah, and what I'm saying more like this. I'm saying like what Japan put out for the West to see of Japanese chicks is different to what they actually are in Japan. They're
Mm,
like a whole different species. They're
mm.
different, bro. They look different. Like Japanese people, unfortunately, are just not like a good looking. They're not a good looking fucking race at all.
There's actually quite a lot of
They,
beautiful girls here, though.
no, there are hot. They're obviously good. There are. I'm just like I thought. Yeah, like obviously Asian chicks. They're like hot, but actually Japan was like too far into the Asian world. Like Singapore is actually the bang on the middle,
Yeah,
where
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like they're a little bit Western. They're a little bit westernized, but they're obviously Asian, and they kind of had that middle ground. But I'm just saying that for me personally, when I actually went to Japan, I was like, oh shit. Like these are like a different fucking human being. They're like so fucking Asian and they're so weird what they eat and they're like eating like fucking fish that isn't cooked. I was just like, you know what? I don't think I could be with a Japanese chick because maybe like one which is half Western, but to go full Japanese, wearing like weird fucking maid outfits all the time and acting like a fucking little cartoon character, it's just too far for
Bro,
me,
they
bro.
eat like fish
I need a
guts
bit more of the
here.
Western flavor. Yeah, they're too much, man.
It's
They're
fucking
crazy, weird little
horrible.
animals.
It's fucking horrible. But I actually tried raw horse, and raw horse is actually really good. It just tastes like beef, man.
Bro, that sounds hectic. That sounds hectic.
It's so. It was good, man. Like I've tried a
I
lot of
ate
like
some
weird
raw
shit, but
pork. Mate, the food standard, if you speak to any Michelin star chef, they always say the best food in the world is in Japan because there's so much variety. And also, you go to Japan and you eat things, and this actually happens in China as well. I haven't been there, but my friend went there and he said you literally eat things which you just have no idea what
mm.
it is, what it's called, and it tastes like a synergy of like five different things, but you can't put your finger on it. And like in Japan, that definitely was the case. I went to this really fucking fancy restaurant someone told me to go to, and every single dish I was like, I'm literally, if you told me like what this is, it's a guess. Like I literally have no fucking clue what I'm eating right now. It could literally be like cabbage, or it could be like mushrooms, or it could be a fucking horse. I don't know what this is. It's like a yellow thing that tastes like bread. You're like, what? Like, what the fuck is it? I love it though. It's
And
just
they
so
eat
interesting.
loads of raw shit. So they eat
I'm
raw
coming back.
eggs, raw meat, raw fish, like so much raw shit. I was very
Dodgy.
surprised.
It's dodgy, man.
I've kind of embraced it, man.
I'm
Like,
gonna come back out, bro. How long are you staying out there for?
oh, bro, I'm coming
You're gonna
back.
stay out there for how? What? You gonna
Bro,
live
I've
out there
been here
now?
since the start of no, the end of May. So I've been here for 2 months now. I've been here for 2 months, man. But I'm looking to come back in probably January, maybe.
Oh shit! So you're staying out all the way until Jan?
No, no, no. I'm coming back in. I'm coming back in like a week or two. I need to go back to London for a bit. I've been away since Dubai, bro. I haven't gone
Yeah,
home
yeah.
since Dubai, since the 100K party.
Oh yeah, that's mad. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
doing a fucking will where me and him flew to Georgia because I needed to get something stamped on my passport, and we ran away from COVID, and then he just never left Georgia.
Yeah.
We went there for like 3 weeks, and then he just never left. I
Yo,
was
you
like, okay,
told me
bro.
about
I
that as
lived there
well.
before him. I went there once or twice. No, I went there before. I think I went to Ukraine actually with Pete first, and then I went to Georgia with Will. But that was our second trip there. And then he was just like, you know what, mate, I'm gonna stay. I was like, fuck, and he's still there. It's been like 2 years.
He needs to get out a little bit. I mean, like the 100K party was his first run out in a while, no? Or maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, man, your sound cut out, but yeah, he'd never go. He just literally sits at home and trades, and he's been doing that. He's in monk mode for 2 years. Like he needs to come out and fucking do some shit, but he's doing what he's doing, man. He's doing what
Yeah,
he's
he's doing
doing.
his thing. He's got work as well and stuff.
Yeah. What you got there on the chart, brother?
So this is someone's been talking about the pump airdrop, right? I think Honey and Silk has a big allocation on pump, right? If I'm not mistaken. I just think with something like this, when can we short it? When can I short this? Anyone hear about when pump airdrop is coming? I'm actually not sure, but yeah. Desert shitcoin. I think some are running a bot on it per. Zeus put a gun to my head and made me long per. Yeah, bro, I just looked at per. It looks really good, by the way. Adrian loves a bit of per. Zeus is a purple. Obviously, Zeus. Yeah, I miss that guy, man. I used to talk to him every day. Pretty much every day. Hi, Jack. I think Adrian was trading per. Ooh, okay. Per has some nasty wicks, not a hype. Okay, nice. Per is the hype mascot. Okay, love to see that. That definitely going to get some money rotation in that from hype. Then I'm actually looking to potentially long a bit of that on 3x cross. 9:30 p.m. for me. Sydney is worse. Oh, so you're 2 hours ahead of me in Tokyo, right? Yeah. Damn. So Vikings. The New York opens at 12:30 a.m. for you. That is just not. Oh yeah, Cycle's also in Brizzy, right? Probably the same in Brizzy. Yeah, we got the best time for sure. Like London has the best time zone, but the worst everything else because we're just a failing society. Like we just have the worst crime. Like it's just horrible. The worst tax. Like everything's just sucks. USA, nah, I don't want to live. I'd rather live in London than USA, to be honest.
Yeah, still getting UK income and UK capital gains at the minute.
Yeah, man.
You just don't say anything. You just like keep it under the fucking carpet.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, until they change the regulations.
Make London great again. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
it's a
need
tough
it.
one, bro. Bruv, just don't say you did anything. Like at the end of the day, like they'll probably change the laws, but it's just one of those things, bro. Like I had to I managed to get out very early. I
Mm,
left like in 2019 end of 2018, 2019. I think it was the summer of I think I left but I came back. But then I really left on the summer of 2019 where I like never came back. And obviously that's 6 years ago. But I was in and out as well for like multiple years before that, just like trying to skip the minimum amount of days. But now I just did my whole fucking thing. I do a tax report. I go with a professional tax company in England, and they send me the exact amount of days. And they've said to me now, actually, the last 3 years, I've had 183 days I can live in the UK without paying any tax. So, like, that's fucking, I'm cool with that. Like,
mm,
that's more than I would ever even probably spend in England anyway, even if I was paying tax. Like, 180 days, almost like fucking 4 or 5 months.
mm. Well, that's
So,
actually a
yeah,
long
once
time. I
you
thought it was
really,
3 months maximum.
No, not for me, because you go. So basically, they have a tier system, and then they have a bracket system, and then they have a time system. So there's three different things. The first 2 years, when you leave the country, if you don't want to pay tax, you can't go back for more than 2 weeks. So it's 2 weeks for the first 2 years. Then you get 90 days. And once you
Okay.
cross over 5 years out of the country without being a tax resident, then you get a non-dom status, which I've got now, which means that I can go back for 183 days. But
Okay.
but I can't work for more than 3 days. I can't do certain things. Like I can't like if I have children, it changes. If I have a family in England, it changes. My parents' house can technically mean that could end up me living there, and then I could cause problems. So essentially, like I could spend 183 days, but I'd have to be like in a hotel, Airbnb, without working, all that kind of shit, which is kind of okay because you can get a pretty cheap fucking Airbnb just outside Bristol and you're living in a pretty good area. Like it's, obviously I wouldn't live in London for that long because it's just too hectic. But you know what I mean? If you put the time in, bro, you can actually get a really good deal. But
Hmm.
you gotta sacrifice 5 years,
Hmm.
really, of not living, and that's what it takes.
I'd
That's
rather
how
just get
fucking much it
out
takes to.
altogether, to be honest. Like, I love and hate London
Well,
at
the
the
thing is,
same
I'm
time.
not saying I'll go back. I'm not saying I'll go back. I'm just saying that I have the ability now to go back for 183 days, which
Hmm.
gives you even 90 days. You're completely clear if you over. Because the problem is, if you don't really know, you might end up doing 91 days, or you might be on like a 30-day one, and you might do 31 days, and you get taxed your full income, everything for that whole year just for going one day over. They've had cases. My tax company, they said that it's just a guy I know actually from a friend of a friend. He's a legend. Does me a really good deal. But he said that he had someone who like overstayed by like 5 hours because of a flight delay and had to pay capital gains income and he had to pay a whole load of other VAT shit. So he got wrecked like hundreds of thousands of dollars by just like 5 hours over. But I would check it out, man. It's probably worth just, I would do this if I was you. I would do for the first 2 years, I would just travel around Europe and I would do 3 months in Europe and then I'll go Cyprus because you get another 3 months. And then you go to all these small, like, English kind of islands which have non-dom status. And you can do like, just keep just bopping around and travel for like 3 months all around Europe, maybe even do Japan. But then the problem is about Japan, you have to get like an extra visa and shit. And then once you've got the 2 years out, then choose a location where you're going to be like, well, this is where I'm actually going to live now. And because
Hmm.
if you go to Japan, you're going to get taxed if you live there. So I'd say you
Hmm.
got to choose somewhere like a Panama, a Malta, a Dubai, a Singapore. Probably Dubai, bro. Just have your base in Dubai, mate.
Maybe
Just
even like,
like Dubai, like
yeah, I guess. Aren't
because if
Thailand
you have
doing no
Dubai,
no
then
capital
you
gains tax on crypto though?
yeah. But the problem is about Thailand is they change their laws on a whim. Like they even recently just changed the tourist visa. Like they literally just changed it in like just like that, buff. And now anyone who, because you used to do this thing where you could go to Thailand and leave, and you get your extra 3 months, and you
Yeah,
could keep doing that
yeah. Passport
until
running.
you eventually had like, yeah, passports, and you could keep doing that for ages. Now they've completely made that illegal, or you can only do it twice, basically now, or 3 times. So now you have to get a tourist visa, and if you get a tourist visa, you are litigated to some tax if you live in the country for longer than this. And the problem is about Thailand, it's like you'll have to be an expert to keep up with it. And the thing is about Dubai, you have this massive certainty of from its inception, it's always been 0%. So like it's not like they're going to turn around tomorrow and suddenly tell all the free zones you got to pay 10%. It's just not going to happen. And if it did happen, you'd see the economy essentially shrink by probably 25%
Hmm.
overnight because everyone would be like, well, it's 10% here, it's also 9% in Singapore. Bye.
Yeah.
That's their competitive edge, and they're not going to give that up. They've been here for 20, 30 years. So like all I'm saying is Dubai, you have massive certainty that nothing's going to change. Because you got to remember, is like anywhere in the world, it's just you just don't know if they're going to change the laws. Like even Portugal, I was going to go live in Portugal, settle down there because they were like no capital gains, no crypto tax for 10 years. All of these amazing numbers were coming out, and I was going to get the golden visa. I almost bought a house for 500 grand to get the golden visa. So glad I didn't go through with it because what happened is when me and Pete were out there, they then came out the next year and said, actually, we're going to scrap all the crypto stuff. We actually are going to do capital gains and there is going to be crypto tax. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I've had to go and bought the property, got the golden visa, and then the next year they just changed the laws. You got to be careful with that shit. They do
Mm,
it a lot, and like the governments will come and change shit. Like they change stuff in Dubai in terms of like drinking laws and shit, but they never change the system of Dubai's 9% tax for domestic. Anything international is taxed as well, but it's lower than that. But then all the free zones like Sharjah, Ras Al Khaimah, obviously going into like the south, Abu Dhabi has a little bit of tax, but then you have a few different areas called free zones. They're never going to change, bro. So you
mm,
just incorporate in a free zone. You can live in Dubai. You can live anywhere in the UAE, which is like 5 Emirates. You can live in Sharjah, Ras Al Khaimah, Abu Dhabi, Dubai. And then you can live in any of the Emirates, but you just have your company situated in Ras Al Khaimah, which is 0% on everything, 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 never going to change. And then you get the residency or golden visa, and then you always have a fallback plan, and then you just
yeah.
go 3 months here, back to Dubai. And you've always got a fallback. You can just live in Dubai for as long as you want, but then you can then do your life, but with the base of because you can't if you're gonna do if you're gonna move out of England forever, you got to realize like you don't have a home to
Yeah,
just
you
go
need a
back and live for
base.
10 months if you need. You need a base, bro. Like otherwise you're essentially nomading it. But the thing is about nomading it is then you're constantly thinking about where you are. How long have I got? 3 months? Is it six
Mm,
months? Do I have to pay tax? Do I do this? I had it in Cyprus. I did 18 months, didn't pay any tax, but I had to do the 3 months, left another 3 months, came back, got the 6 months, and then I had to do a temporary visa, got 6 months, and then I had to do a tourist visa, taxed, non-taxed dom. So I had to do like four different visas to not
damn.
pay tax for 18 months.
Chaos has a question here. How long do you have to wait before you can cut the UK HMRC off?
You can cut them off the first year you leave. If you in April 1st, so you April's when they do the tax that's when they qualify you and make sure what you're paying, and they give you tax back or you pay tax. So you leave on April 1st. You don't spend any more than 2 weeks in the country until the next April 1st. And that year, on the first year you leave, you don't have to pay tax. So you don't even have to tell HMRC. They'll automatically put you down as non-tax resident because you didn't spend any time of that year. They all will automatically do it. It's better if you send them a letter and you tell them for your national insurance number and all that shit. I didn't do that. You don't have to do it, but I didn't do it because I just didn't want them to even know I exist. So like I've got to the point now they don't even know fuck all about me. Like I've done everything to cover it up. I've even deleted most of my exchanges from England. Even Coinbase deleted my account because they thought I was suspicious and da 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 da. And then I worked with them for years, brought them 10,000 people to their fucking company, and I was the first 1,000 people in the world to have the Coinbase card. And then they came out and they said HMRC are interested in what you're doing. We're deleting your whole account. So I basically done the whole thing like that. But yeah, if from the first year, and by the way, go to your tax professional on this as well. I'm just going by what he said, so I'm not 100% sure. I'm just telling you like what he told me. But yeah, you can get rid of tax in the first year, but you need to leave on April 1st, and you can't live in the country for 2 weeks. You have to do, and then the next year you have to do that as well. So 2 years, the first 2 years you leave, do not come back to England for more than 2 weeks, because then you'll qualify for okay, you're going to be taxed. Also, you can't work, so you can't work, you can't fucking live in the country for 2 weeks or more, and you can't fucking have children. If you've got multiple children going to local schools, or you've got like parents, or you're sending money out, and there's loads of other shit you need to look into because there might actually be might even be even worse for you. I think 2 weeks you'll be fine though, even if you have kids in the country. Kids are the worst. If you have children in England and you're the father of those children and they're in England, you've got it's pretty difficult to get out of the tax system because they're going to be using government services most of the time. But then you have to if they're not using the private system, or sorry, the public system with healthcare and like all the shit, the vaccines they do and all the fucking school because they probably might go to state systems. So like you have to go all through that shit. I was lucky enough I didn't have to do any of that crap, but you will have to do that. And if you want to get them out of that system and you want to send them private and they don't use this and that, whatever. But that's going to take a little bit more. You might even have to bring your fucking kids with you. But yeah, you got 2 weeks for the first 2 years if you're on your own, and then the third year it changes, and then you have a tie system. They'll look at it and then they'll say, okay, well now you've been out for 2 years and you've only been in the country for less than 4 weeks. You then get 90 days most of the time, depending on your ties, and then after 5 years, you get put up to the big daddy bracket. and I'm on 183 days, which is fucking lit. Because essentially, I could just come back and live in England for like 3 months and just chill, which I won't do. But I will do it. I probably next year. I think I'll go. I was supposed to go back to England this year, at the 1st of July, but I got my appendix fucking taken out, and it just fucking. I don't know. I'm gonna come back to England probably in the next couple of weeks and do a bit of summer in England because I do love England in the summer. It is the best country. Okay, if you go back to 1995 and 2005, England in the summer was the best country in the world to be in by a county mile. There was nowhere else. Even these nice fucking tropical places and even Miami in America, fuck all that shit. Being in England in the south, Bristol, festivals, south of London, maybe popping down to Brighton 20 years ago, it was the best country in the world to be in the summer. It still is good. It's just not as good what it was.
Sometimes we forget that we're a
Um,
fucking island, aren't we? Island
yeah,
vibes.
bro. Well, to be honest, we're hardly an island. Like, if you really think about the English Empire, we still own fuckloads of shit all around the world. All the fucking British Virgin Islands, Gibraltar, Seychelles, all the way through. We have all these
Mm.
like small little places you can go to. Even stuff like Jersey and shit. Like, if you actually think about it, you could get
Jersey's
out of the
cool.
tax system in England. You could live in all of the offshore little colonies, which are all the islands. You could technically stay in the British system, but you can go and live in these non-dom status places. You could go to like yeah, Gibraltar, Cayman Islands, British Virgin Islands, Jersey. They all technically are outside of the British system in terms of the mainland. And then we have there's loads of little places you can go for tax havens. Cayman Islands is interesting. I haven't looked into it. I've heard that it is good, but I've heard it's extortionate prices on, and I think it's Cayman Islands or I can't remember which one it is. Whether it's Cayman Islands or it's fucking. There's another tax haven which is really good. I think that guy called Raoul Paul lives there, but I've
Mm.
heard it's like extortionate. I think it's for quite an easy barrier to entry to get in. Like you have to, 500K basically. Dubai technically for the golden visa is 500 as well, but yeah, I think there's quite a good system there. But I heard it's just extortionate. It's like a loaf of bread is like $50. You're just like,
Bruh,
what? Because you're on an
what?
island.
Oh yeah, so the
At least in
imports are
Dubai, it's
super
not expensive.
expensive.
Yeah, well, everyone thinks Dubai is really expensive, but it's not. It's not.
It's not. Yeah,
If you
it's
want to
actually
live in
not.
downtown, no, if you want to go to the clubs and the places and the tourist traps and the downtown, if you want to go to the center of London, like if you went to the center of Dubai, it's really expensive. It's probably more expensive than London in the expensive areas. But you got to remember, there's infinite land here in comparison to London. Like it's a small island. Like you can't go and like build your house in the desert. You can't go and move to a really shit location. You could go north to the northern areas, and you do get cheaper prices. But the problem is like you're condensing everyone to a small area, so house prices are kind of just expensive. But in
Mm.
Dubai, bro, like if you just want to sacrifice a little bit of luxury, go and live in a flat next to Dragon Mart with a huge shopping center. You can live in a 4 bedroom, 3 bedroom apartment for £500 a month, and everything you're purchasing is from Dragon Mart, which is the biggest Chinese import district in Dubai. So all of the Chinese goods and services that you see in the malls, which get marked up 400%, just go to that fucking place. So you can go get all the same shit for like four for the fucking cost, 25% of the cost, and you can go to the local supermarket, which is because they have these giga supermarkets, and you can just go and buy like you don't have to buy the fucking Waitrose produce. You can go and buy the normal
Mm.
shit. You can live in Dubai way cheaper than you think, but it's a desert and it's not very luxurious. But
Mm.
like
What's
you
the what's
technically speaking, in England, yeah, go on.
what's the minimum amount you have to live every year to get the like tax residence like to pay 0% tax? Like, do you have to do like 3 months every year in Dubai minimum, or you just have to own a
No,
house?
no, no. You can do if you do an IZ, so it's called an IRZA company. So if you make your own company, which is a really low, it's like a digital nomad company in Sharjah, for instance, or Russelheimer, it'll cost you $2,000 or $3,000 to set it up. You employ yourself through your company, which is like this digital nomad company. So you
Mm.
become an employee of your company. You then get a visa for that because obviously if you're employed by a company, you get a visa, and then you only have to be it's a working visa, and then you only have to be in the country for 1 day every 6 months, and you can live in the country indefinitely for as long as the
Okay.
visa is, and you have to
Because
renew it every 3 years.
I'm gonna be a bit controversial here. I actually don't really like Dubai that much. Like, I don't. It's not.
Yeah, I didn't like Dubai at all. No, it's not. It's horrible. I didn't like Dubai for. I hated Dubai the first 2 years.
It's just
It was shit.
manufactured, and it's just everyone's really rich, so they're not that nice, and it just kind of lacks a little bit of a. I don't know. It's just. Like, I
You
get it.
say
Like
that, but the thing is,
for you, obviously you got a lot of money, so you can live a great lifestyle, and you can make use of all the like great services and stuff like that. But I don't know, man. It's just it kind of misses. It's missing something for me. It's definitely better. I would rather live there than London for sure. But
bro, no, but even that, like, mate, this country has been, it started 25 years ago. Like, it's missing loads of shit. It's
yeah, you're
missing
right.
like
You're right.
parks.
You're right.
It's missing so much shit. It's missing like parks, natural built small shops integrated into little local communities, like easy walkways, trees. Like, it's a fucking desert. There's nothing here. They literally built this from nothing in the last 30 years. So it's missing so much stuff.
What about we
Like,
do
if you go
MDX
to London,
HQ, bro, in Dubai?
yeah, everyone. I don't know. I heard some. I think me and Maz was saying. I don't know. I don't want to. I don't need an office. Like, I built my whole life around the premise of not having to be tied down physically to a location. But I do think there is some. I think maybe, yeah. But I need to
Or like some
firstly sort out my
flats?
real estate shit.
Hmm.
Yeah, like, maybe. But bro, like, mate, this fucking country's been here for 30 years and they've done a good job for that long, but it's missing loads of stuff. But that's why they have to be competitive financially. They
Yeah.
have to give you a reason. And like, you do pay the price for that. But having said that, the first 2 years were shit, but now they are rapidly growing. They are getting the public beaches now. They are getting the big parks, and you can have really good gated communities. They have the safety, and then they have obviously the tax stuff. And like, it is, I just now know Dubai really well, so I know exactly where to go. I know where all the places are. I know where all the good restaurants are. I know where the chicas hang out. I know what I'm doing. But the first 2 years, you just feel like you're in this horrible synergy of like, you're stuck in a massive apartment building or a skyscraper. The only way you go anywhere is in a car or a taxi. So you can't just like walk, or you can walk around the hotel lobby, wherever the fucking
Yeah.
skyscraper you're in. But you're kind of stuck. It's like America in terms of when you go into like the southern bigger states, where it's like, you have to drive but it's worse than that. You got 2,000 years, 3,000, 2,500 years of history of London, of people building roads, of people making little shops, and filling in all the gaps. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. London is just filled in. Like, every single place you can go, there's always something filled in next to the road, a cool little shop, a little resty, a little pub. Like, it's a great fucking country, mate, because it's like so much stuff to do. But in Dubai, you have like skyscraper, nothing, skyscraper, road. It's like, the game fucking Sim City where you're building a fucking. It's like at the beginning of the building process of Sim
Mm.
City, where it's like you've only got like everything's disconnected. There's nothing, and then as you play the game for fucking 4 hours. By the end of it, you built all the parks in and you put, and everything looks nice. But Dubai's just that, bro. But think about it, mate. Benefit from the tax regime, benefit from the freedom to have safety, or let's just say the freedom to. And to be honest, Dubai is pretty open, bro. You can say what you fucking want, really. They don't care. They're not here to do you in. If you go to Sharjah and Abu Dhabi and you say some stuff, you might get in trouble. But in Dubai, they don't really care
Yeah,
as
they're
long as you're
becoming a
not
lot more
fucking pro.
lenient.
Yeah, they don't. They never really cared though. It was a lot of propaganda. They never really cared because they built Dubai for a reason. They built Dubai for Westerners and they built Dubai for people to come in. It's 80% foreigners,
They built
so
it
they're
for
not trying to
everyone.
force their religious agenda, or they're not trying to force their ideology on people here. Because firstly, that's not why they built this country. They said, come here for nothing and spend lots of money here. And if you spend lots of money here, you'll grow the economy, and then we'll be able to monetize the real estate empire we have because it wasn't built on oil. Abu Dhabi started the oil. That's why it's called Burj Khalifa, because
Mm.
the king of Abu Dhabi gave the money to Dubai. It was going to be called Burj Dubai, but they ran out of oil in 2008. So the actual Abu Dhabi guys, they funded it. But it's a real estate empire. They've just built a huge, massive theme park, adult theme park, with also theme parks in it, by the way. So it's a theme park with theme parks inside. And then they've built this real estate empire where the government have a big tie in all of the real estate. Not in all of it, actually, but let's just say 50 to 60%. They own 30% of MR, 60% of DMAC. Maras is 100% government. They own the whole of fucking Nakheel. So you got to remember, like, everything you see has like some government participation. So when a hotel, the address, for instance, takes on an MR building, the government are getting paid for that hotel by a lease and the profit that company makes. So what they do is incentivize all these people to come in, live or work or produce or create in those offices, blocks, real estate, blocks or whatever. They just monetize from all those 80 fucking percent of people. And then all the actual Emiratis, they go live in Abu Dhabi and Sharjah in the fucking Oman mountains in their massive mansions. And they look at like Dubai as it's like the Las Vegas of America. No one really lives in Las Vegas. They do, some people obviously, but like it's more like the party spot. And then it's a big cash cow. Like Las Vegas is a cash cow for America because they tax the gambling. That's the same as what Dubai is to the UAE. They get all the people to come spend money in Dubai, and then they tax the fuck out of it. Not inherently the person doesn't get taxed. What they're doing is they're taxing the companies via the lease agreements and the percentage of the companies they own. That's how they make their money, bro. And then it's a fucking smart
It's
idea
super smart. Yeah, I was
because we
just
don't.
thinking that.
It's a massive company, bro. It's a huge company, and it's a theme park, and you pay to play, and the ticket gets you in. And if you don't play by the rules, you lose your ticket. So you have to buy a ticket to get in. But it's like going to a theme park. If you start spitting on all the chairs and being rude and putting chewing gum everywhere, they'll ask you to leave. It's the same here. They'll ask you to leave, or they'll kick you out. But you're getting the benefit, of that tax freedom. So I don't know. I've completely. I hated Dubai at the start. I just here because I had to be here because I don't want to pay fucking tax. I don't want to lose half my money. But
Marvy's
now
got a
I'm like,
really good
okay,
question. How much is a decent property in Dubai worth?
it's such a huge question because there's such a huge diversity. I just bought a 2-bedroom apartment in the marina. Um, and it's in a good area. It's located in a growing area. I have good capital appreciation. I'll be able to rent it out, but I'll be able to rent it out for like $5,000 a month, and it costs me like after the refurb, it will probably be a value of $1 million, and it's a 2-bedroom apartment in Marina, so it's $1 million for a 2-bed. So there are areas like that which are expensive, but it's difficult, like because you can find an off plan which hasn't been built yet, get a really good deal on it. You can find an area that has way oversupply, so they've just built so many units there. The demand is out. The thing about Dubai is you can find amazing deals because they're building so much and the government aren't smart enough to always get the ratio to supply and demand correct. But they've got so much money anyway, they don't care. They're building for the long term. So you find an area like, for instance, there's an area which got built called Damac Hills, and then there's also an area which was
Mm.
built, which is actually in construction now, and it's like on a golf course. They built this whole fucking thing, but they're all these properties are like, they were asking such a huge price, no one purchased them, so the prices all fell through. So for instance, Damac Towers and Damac Hills, you can get a fucking mental deal right now because they've built thousands of units which are just like not getting filled. The
Yeah,
Burj
there's loads
Khalifa
of
is
empty.
30-40%. 30-40% of the Burj Khalifa is empty.
Damn.
Always. Yeah, it's crazy. So like, if you go to like the super hypey areas, like where I went with the marina, the only reason I bought there was because you have the guarantee, very high probability that you can always rent it because everyone goes there to marina. So you have a huge amount of people. It won't grow capital growth. The property won't go up in price very quickly. It will probably be like 6% because there's already built. So it's not going to be like a huge growth in the area where there's lots of new shops and lots of new beaches and all that kind of stuff. That's what really gives you capital appreciation. You buy
Mm.
somewhere and then they go and build there's a huge supermarket, and then they open up a public beach, and they open up this, and all the amenities grow and the area grows and the property goes crazy. But that's just because I want to get rental yield on it. But if you can come to Dubai and all these real estate people messaging me, and you can find areas where they've just built 10,000 units, only 1,000 of them sold on the pre-sale because it's literally like altcoins, like pre-sale, then on the next round, and they do rounds
Yeah,
on it.
yeah.
1,000 get sold, and there's 9,000 left. Guess what happens? The developers got to sell them. The others go bust, and a lot of them do. And when they go bust, it's even more of a good time to get in because 40% of companies that build outside of government contracts fail. So like, then you get these insane deals where it's like you got all these guys who invested in it, and they're just like, okay, I'll sell you 20%, 30% under market. They're just trying to get the money out.
Mm.
That's going to happen soon, by the way. There's
So
going to be
what?
another one of
So
those
what
because
kind of price is that? Like, are
there's
we
going to be
looking at
another.
like 250, 300K? Like, if it's like 200% under market.
Bro, you can go really far out into the desert in an area that's being built but had low demand, and you can get like a two-bedroom townhouse for like $100,000.
No way, bro. For real?
Yeah, yeah,
That's unbelievable.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, and it's like far out in the desert. I know a place. They built. There's actually one location which had a big issue with what they kicked off a new project. They only actually managed to finish half of the location, so half it's still under construction. And guess what happens? People don't want to live next to construction,
Hmm.
so the properties were like insanely cheap.
Hmm.
But you are buying the risk that eventually they don't finish it. But if you have a long-term time horizon and you don't really care about where you live or what it looks like, it is a bit of a construction site, I'm not gonna lie. But you still get a four-bedroom house. And you
Hmm.
could we could bring up a family there. And if you walled up your gardens and put some trees around your thing, then maybe you'd be okay. But yeah, dude, they're like 50, $60,000 because the whole area is bust. But
Hmm.
then the like in England, you're never gonna get that.
No,
We
never
have
ever.
huge population increase. You've got a very small amount of just land. Okay. Also, there's lots of regulations, lots of environmental stuff. It's difficult to get planning. All these things cost more money, 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 money. But in Dubai, it's different because there's no value in the land without
Hmm.
something built on it. There's no value. There's no wildlife. There's
Just
no
build it.
wildlife. It's a desert. It's just like there's no value whether you have to build to create value. So like you can come here and you can buy land. I even found some land. I'm not going to buy it because it would be such a huge project which I'm not prepared to take on right now. But I found a piece of land, beachfront, in between Abu Dhabi and Dubai for like $70,000. You get over 20,000 square foot, which if you know, like 1,400 square foot is like a decent sized two-bedroom apartment. You would get like 20,000 square feet beachfront. The only issue
Damn.
is that it's in the middle of nowhere. You'd have to get all the plumbing sorted, the road. You'd even have to get like a road sorted to it. You'd have to build the property on top of it.
Yeah,
There are
that's
loads of
too
factors
big,
which would
man.
mean it.
It's too big of a project, to be
That's a big
honest.
project.
I mean, if you were,
Big project.
yeah, it's just too big, isn't it?
But mate, it's only $50,000 for 20,000 square feet. Like that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, my sister, she just bought a fucking flat in, Holloway. Holloway's like near Camden. It's in North London. It's just a shit one bed for like 450K, and I was like, what are you doing? Like, what are you actually doing?
House market in England will fall through eventually, but the baby boomers need to die, unfortunately. Like our parents, I don't know how old your mother and father is, but the baby boomer generation is between, I don't know, probably 60 and 80. I
Yeah,
don't
my dad's
know.
like
But
65.
yeah, my dad's about the same. I think he's about 69. No, no, he's 68 now. So yeah, the same. And how old are you? You're like
I'm
20. So your
26.
parents had you. Mm, they had you quite late then, is it? Or
Yeah,
earlier?
quite
I
late.
don't
Well, my
know.
dad was a bit old, but my mom was about 30.
Oh, okay, cool. But fucking the only issue is with the housing market in England is you don't have it's very difficult to get oversupply. Very difficult to build, high barrier to entry to build. There's not a lot of land and there's lots of people. So it's hard to get to the point where prices go down because you have inflation, then you have adjusted, and then you have lots of population. A million people came in 2024. So like to see prices go down now is difficult. But if they slash immigration, so no one can come in, and all the baby boomers start downsizing and unfortunately dying, which is
Mm.
that's why it's so stubborn. The market in England's so stubborn because it orientates around death, and nobody wants to die. So it's like that's what you're fighting against.
Mm.
Nobody wants to live. Everyone wants to live in a nice house for their retirement and nobody wants to die. So that's why the market isn't going down in price. But in Dubai, it's the whole opposite different. Infinite land, everyone wants to build, huge supply. Now what you're seeing is a lot of people are moving here. So like even from when I got here, like when I first came here like 5, 6 years ago, everyone was still in the camp of, but Muslims dodgy. Is there Sharia law? Women, da da da. All that's changing now. Now
Yeah.
250,000 British people live here, and
Mm.
like I think 200,000 people want to move here every year now.
Yeah.
Like it's mental, bro. So now it's actually
For work and tax
right
reasons
now
as well.
safety, family,
Just everything, yeah.
tax, except beauty of nature.
Mm. Yeah.
Which some people can't. By the way, some people will happily pay 40% of their money to live in the Cotswolds, and like that's fine. But you're going to pay the price for that beautiful shire it's a nice place. In England, in the Cotswolds, it's one of the nicest places you can live. Like it
Yeah,
literally looks like fucking Harry Potter.
yeah, it literally
People
does.
will pay. The funny thing is, bro, I don't want to rattle on for too long, but the thing is about fucking England right now is that a lot of people want to live in England because they want to live that life. So you have a lot of immigrants going in, and all the actual population are moving out because they're
Mm.
bored of it. It's like the grass. It's like the grass is always greener on a massive level. But people come to Dubai, and 50% of people don't make it past the first 2 years
Yeah, I
because
can
it's
see
hard.
that.
It's a hard lifestyle. It's not nice. Like you have to be in cars all the time. But now they're building loads of new shit, and they got their big green policy coming out. So by like 2040, you'll be able to walk everywhere. They're going to plant like 1 billion trees or something. It's going to be like more. Singapore is the best of the middle ground, actually.
Yeah, I agree.
But you
Singapore's
pay
really
none.
nice, but yeah, yeah, Singapore is
You need
really
a
good.
million dollars to get in.
Exactly. I was gonna say high barrier entry, way higher than Dubai,
Yeah, yeah.
and
They
it's
don't
a
let
lot
everybody
harder to
in,
get
and
citizenship, right? Well, I don't even think you can get citizenship. I'm not
you can.
sure.
It's easier in Singapore, but you can't in Dubai. The
Okay.
only way you can get citizenship here, you can do it actually, but you have to be classified as like a some sort of national like asset. So if you're an asset as a human, which would be CZ Binance, for instance, or
Yeah.
he managed to get citizenship. Like, if you're a huge asset and you're gonna bring in potentially like thousands of jobs or millions of fucking homes you're gonna build, whatever it is, you can
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't want it though. You wouldn't
No,
want
you
citizenship
wouldn't.
here
If you
because
were
then
that guy, you could go anywhere. And yeah.
you
Yeah.
wouldn't want citizenship because then you do get a different bracket of what you are really acceptable to do. They take it very seriously. Like, it's like the royal family. You're joining the royal family, basically. Like, if you fucking join the royal family in 1650, you're going to be held up to account for a lot of shit. Same here. Like, you don't, like, the people here who run this place are monarchs. It's a monarchy. It's a dictatorship monarchy. Like, it's
Mm.
not democracy. Like, you got
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
play by the rules. Like, and that's actually a good thing for this country because you have good monarchs and you have good dictatorship. But it's like a company, right? When you start a startup, you're the dictator of your company, and you can make it grow fast, but you can make bad decisions, which mean it goes to zero. So you can either make it amazing or nothing. So that's dictatorship. But right now, the dictatorship's very good. Like
Yeah. We got another
they're
question here
pro.
as well. Why don't you offer a VIP package on your MDX platform where you offer an employment visa for people who buy that package? That allows traders to transition over to Dubai through your company. I mean, I'm not going to answer for Max, but it seems like a lot of hassle just to have people transition to Dubai themselves.
Well, the thing is, I have a company which is FZ LLC, which I have like a certain bracket of the amount of people I can employ. Also, I have costs associated with that,
Mm,
and I have to have a bigger office, and then I have to like increase my company size to like different brackets. Like there is a way to do that, but there are lots of companies that do that, and I don't want to compete with them. They do that already, but like you can go find a company which is a complete like shadow business, and you can get a visa through it and all that kind of shit. You can do all that kind of crap, but I could do it, but like firstly, it's a lot of work and it's not much gain for me. And also, I don't want to build my FZ LLC into this huge, massive conglomerate fucking thing. I don't need any of that stuff. But there is a way to do it. I could definitely get 10 people on my company. I could employ 10 people on my company, but then I have a minimum I have to pay them, so I have to give them something. But which is fine. Some people do it where it's a minimum amount you pay them, and then they give it back, and then da, da, da. I could do it, but I'm getting
yeah.
the gold. I'm getting the golden visa now. I'm about to get the golden visa, so I can have 50 people. Actually, more. It's actually unlimited now on my golden visa, but I can only get people in as electricians, maids, like family helpers, all that kind of shit. But I wouldn't want to have 50 fucking people on my golden visa because there's so many extra complications. You have to like pay for their insurance, you have to make sure they got this and da da. There's loads of shit. So you can do that though right now. Just literally, you can do that right now. I could do a handful of people. I already do my family.
Mm.
I did. I do all my girlfriends. Like even Dashka's still on my fucking visa. I'm not even with her anymore.
Oh,
So
you
I
need
need to
to
get
cut
that
that shit
sorted out.
off, bro.
Yeah, I haven't bothered with the application to get rid of it because the problem is if you want to get rid of the visa, they have to come to the country to sign a whole load of shit. And
Yeah.
obviously, we don't even speak anymore. So I have to pay a huge fine and shit because they can't. They're out. I'll get rid of it because I'm moving to Golden Visa. But
Marvy said, "I'll be your
yeah, man,
butler."
there is that like there is that way of doing it. But I don't want to. If someone came to me and said, "Look, like I'm happy to pay all the fees and pay all the stuff, and I'll take care of myself," there is an opportunity there. But then the problem is if I have like 50 people on my visa and then someone does something which is illegal, it comes back to me, and then I'm the one who sponsored them, and then I have issues. So like it's kind of a risk parameter as well.
You need something in return.
I don't want to.
Maybe like a branch out of the
Well,
business.
it's not even. It's just that's just a different that is a business which is already viable. People do that. Like
Mm.
there are whole companies which have hundreds of people sponsored, and they do the whole thing, and you pay this and you get it all going. But it's like a huge business to deal with that. Like it wouldn't be something I'd go down. I'd much rather, stick to what I know, which is what I'm doing right now. And I think real estate. I am going to become a landlord though. So I already am a landlord. I own a property in Marina, so that's going to be rented out. If you guys want to rent off me, that's
Yeah, I
fine.
was actually thinking
And
about that. To be fair.
yeah, I'm going to live in it for a bit. I'm spending like 40 grand on the refurbishment. We're knocking down like three walls. We're going to make it fucking peng because the business model for this specific property is this: established area, relatively expensive property. But the thing is that it's 13 years old. So all of the buildings around it are super modern and super big hotels and expensive places. And what people will do is they go and look at Marina and they go, "Oh fuck, I don't want to pay like $10,000 a month because that's a lot of people pay 10K a month to live in Marina in a nice place." And the hotels as well is all like a grand a night and stuff. So there's a new
Mm.
hotel built next to it, fucking expensive, grand a night, 2 grand a night if you want the top dollar. People will look at that and go, "Oh well, I don't want to spend that kind of money," and then they'll look at buildings next to it which are slightly older. Guess what? My property will be listed in that building at slightly lower than that, but it will still have the level of quality of the interior. So we're going to make it look like a fucking. I'll show you guys when it's done in 3 months. It's going to be basically like the Ritz Carlton level of like interior design. $40,000 on a two bed just for like the flat fucking refurb. And then I'll be able to basically price it ideally in the middle bracket between cheap and expensive. And then people will just use it as a holiday home. But I'm going to live in it for a bit because I feel it's weird. I don't want to refurb it and then just hand over the keys to some other dude to jizz on the curtains. I want to fucking have a little bit of time in my. You know what I mean? I want to have a bit of time in it myself when it's new
You need to christen
because
it, mate.
I feel I need to christen it, bro. I need to bang some chicks in it, do some stuff, have some fun in it. But I don't want to like hand over the keys to make it holiday home because as soon as you put it on Airbnb, we all know what happens. You're in
Yeah,
Dubai. You
yeah.
say you can't have parties, but everyone's fucking partying. You're living the dream, Airbnb, and then it does get ruined quickly. Like Airbnb is. Having said that, if you qualify your leads, you can do it. But it's like you're always going to have every fucking 6 months someone who has a party in it. Cigarettes everywhere, whatever. So it's I'm gonna live in it for a bit. But my ultimate plan is just to get like 10 properties in Dubai in all different areas, rent them all out, build that passive income, and then obviously invest in assets that have a fixed or scarce supply, which would be gold, silver, Bitcoin, all that kind of shit.
Speaking of that, I was actually talking about palladium a little while ago, and this thing absolutely mooned.
Yeah, it's ripping, man.
I
Well,
was
silver's going up as well.
I was talking about this in February, March, and it's mooned about 30%, but that's not bad for a precious metal.
Mate, it's epic. And also, what you're
Platinum
seeing
as
is
well.
because
Look,
it's like this. It's like this. When gold goes up, right?
60%
People
move.
make money in gold, and then they cycle down the list. It's like okay, the platinums, the palladiums, the silvers, the nickels, the
Yeah.
brass, the copper. They're the altcoins to gold.
Mm.
So that's what you see. Like gold goes up first, and then everyone cycles into the other metals because they all pop. Same as Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes up, and then it cycles into the alts. It's the same fucking thing,
Yeah, that's so
and
true.
it's the same fucking thing, exactly the same. And like also, the altcoin market's better actually for popping because if you think about gold, also it has competition with real estate, has competition with stocks and shares, has competition with treasury yields and T bills and treasury. So a lot of the money goes there. But with Bitcoin, you get closed up into the walled garden of crypto. So when you go into Bitcoin, it's more difficult for you then to go and just quickly buy stock with it or go quickly buy platinum with it. It's easier just to go into the next altcoin. So actually, the funnel is kind of it's like a hose. If you squeeze the end of a hose, it speeds up the velocity. It's like with Bitcoin, once you go in, the money is like fired into the altcoin market more directly than it could just go anywhere with gold. Our gold is
Mm,
connected to everything.
mm.
Gold is connected to everything. US dollars, fucking all the other heavy precious metals, stocks, shares, equities. You can go into so much different shit. It kind of dilutes it. But with Bitcoin, the last thing you do is want to get out of Bitcoin because it's so expensive. So you go in, you never come out,
Yeah.
and then you're in the alts.
And
Oh,
lastly, before I go, are you enjoying the easiest Nike trade of anyone's life? I sold a lot of my trade between 75 and 76, to be honest. I might reload a little bit more if it comes back down towards 65, but yeah, pretty much easiest Nike ever.
my Nike trade, yeah. I took 10% off when it closed. So it went all the way up to 77 and I took 10% off. And that's what a lot of people have done. You see the prices pop back. But what I'm betting on is when the bottom's in. And I don't think it's in yet because you couldn't say on the Nike chart. If you look at your chart, actually, I'll do it on your chart. If you look at Nike, it's still in a downtrend. It hasn't broken the
Mhm.
prior high. You got some good momentum stuff, but if you were going to bet on this, it's been going down for years and it hasn't broken its prior high. So you would bet that it's probably going to continue lower. But all I'm going to do is just buy every low and just accumulate more of it and then wait until it then breaks out and does that next huge upward swing. I think fair value is $100. So if it goes back down to like 60, 50, I think there's a double your money in this. But the great thing is it might double when Bitcoin's going down. It might double. Bitcoin might go into its next bear market, and then Nike goes and hits its all-time high. So that's what you're betting on is the big hedge. Or the trade I'm really looking for is Nike has a really good move in the next 2-3 years. I double or triple my money depending if it goes to $150. And then you've got a huge stack sitting in Nike and potentially Bitcoin's in its next bear market, and that would be the trade for me. Back
Yeah.
to Bitcoin.
Yep. Exactly.
Um, But yeah, man, I think Nike's going to do well. The company, the brand, the amount of money they put into the dividend in comparison to their growth is good. So you get like 3%, but they still have a huge cash reserve to build a business. The brand ain't going anywhere. As long as my generation, your generation, and potentially the millennials, sorry, if the Gen Zs and millennials, and maybe even some of the I think it's the lost generation and then boomers. The thing about Nike is it's like it has such a great business because it's sports, which can be anyone, even if you're 60. Then you have like the fashion side of it where it has a huge say, and then you have like the value proposition because like Nike prices itself in a place where if you want something sports, Nike's a good place to buy. It's good
Mm.
quality. If you like fashion, Nike's a good place to buy. So it kind of like
Yeah.
has that spread of
Yeah.
like it's a great company, mate. It's a fucking crazy company. Like so many of these companies, like Under Armour or a company like a tennis brand, they're all so specifically sports based. And if you go and wear like for instance, let me think of a good company which is so sports orientated.
Like
I think Under
Puma.
Armour's a good idea. A good like. I like Puma. It's very similar to Nike Puma, but I would say it's not as good. But I would say like if you buy a brand, like a very very high end sports brand, you have potentially got the increase of that sport becoming bigger. For instance, like when everyone's getting into saunas now, you've got loads of companies that sell sauna equipment and sauna hats, and it's an explosion, bro. But you're betting on the industry growing. But with a sport, a lot of these sports are saturated. The price point is the same as Nike anyway. So Nike can still sell you tennis equipment, which is good. But there's a specific brand that want to sell you tennis equipment, but that's the only thing they can sell because they're not cool. You're not going
Mm.
to go and wear an Under Armour thing
Yeah. Yeah.
to a rave in Bristol.
Nah. Nah.
And that's another whole market. You look like a twat. You're like, why are
Yeah.
you wearing gym equipment here? But
Bro.
Nike is, but bro, like, why are you wearing an Under Armour fucking tank top? It's not you're not in the gym, bro. But the thing about Nike, you can do that. You can wear a t-shirt that doubles up as your sports gear, but also you can wear it in a rave, and guys go, oh, I like that. I like Nike. Like, just
Mm.
do it.
Yeah. True.
It's a
Nike's
fucking great
culture.
brand. I've loved. It's a cultural brand for the fashion side, but it's also good at sports. So I would say, as long as our generation don't suddenly think that Nike is not a cool brand and it's not good, I think it will probably be again. It will come back as one of the biggest clothes companies. It already is. You have a slight bit of like, yeah, like you think about a great example would be the Northern Face. Okay, my mum and dad used to buy the Northern Face, North Face brand, just for going skiing. I
Mm.
remember we used to wear the North Face shit when we used to go to like fucking Switzerland and buy it because it was great jackets and like it was comfortable, it was warm, it had a great utility for winter clothing. But then, bruv, they hit the fucking jackpot because then all the
Yeah,
roadmen in England
exactly.
started just wearing it for fashion, and that's why the brand is so good. It's because they are. It's like not. I'm not saying the roadmen made it good. I'm just saying that because people could now wear it because it's cool, that's jumped their business 10x, not just 1x or 2x, it's 10 fucking x because you essentially become a cultural icon of coolness or whatever it is. And then you also have still the mother and father who are the boomer, they buy the North Face because they're like, this is actually a really good utility jacket for what it does. But also then they kind of buy into the fact that it's cool as well. That's
Mm.
that's a fucking I want to invest in companies like that.
Mm. Yeah, it kind of just hits all the right targets in your mind in terms of like fundamentals, cultural aspect, like everything is kind of just covered in one under one sort of umbrella, and you're just like, that's when I saw
Yeah, yeah.
Nike over back in April, and I was saying it on Viking stream. I was like, bro, look at Nike, it's literally 70% down from its high, and I was like, yo, easiest trade of your
Yeah, I
life,
swear, I
boys.
swear, I swear, I swear I was tracking it, and then I think you did a stream, which I saw, and I went and did the deep dive. I spent like a month
Yeah.
looking at it, and I was like, "This is sick." And also, fair value's $100, bro.
Mm.
Like, if you go on any of these accredited, they can be wrong, obviously, because their reports and their models aren't always correct. But if you take the dividend it produces by the size of the company and the amount of money they still invest into growth, which is super important, and obviously management and everything else, but that ratio is really good. Because even if you get 3% yield on 100K, you're getting $3,000 a year, which is beating in, you keep up with inflation, roughly, depending on how much they lie. But you get your 3%, which is the basis of all valuations, usually in public traded stocks. When you have stocks that don't produce a dividend, you are betting more on the growth of the company because obviously they have more money to invest in marketing, sales and product. So like if you're buying a Tesla, you're betting on capital appreciation, the asset going up in price faster because they have more money to invest in growing the company. But with Nike, they have the security value aspect of paying you the yield, which keeps the stock owners in the stock. But also they have a huge cash reserve, which is more than most companies which don't offer a dividend, but they have this huge cash reserve which is more than most companies that don't offer a dividend to invest in growth. So like that's a really good company in my opinion. Like Apple would be a good example.
Mm.
I don't know I don't know if the dividend is great on Apple. I don't know what it is, and I don't know even if they have it at this point. They kind of go in and out with it. But a company that has huge reserves of cash, which can bet on growth, but also give you 3%, that's creating stronger hands. Because when the price falls, everyone knows, well, this quarter I'm going to get £750,
Mm.
whatever it is, depending on if they have 100K in the stock. And that just mitigates they just like, I won't sell because I'm going to get the yield. So
The
then
dividend
that's
on
that's a
Apple is
nice
only
synergy.
0.5%. I mean, compared to Nike, Nike's what, three? Was it
Yeah,
two?
3%.
Yeah, three. It's
The cool thing
unreal.
about the cool thing about Apple, the cool thing about Apple is they have the potential because obviously we know Apple is growing rapidly. Even actually recently it's not because of their AI. They fumbled AI, but like yeah, most thing is the market is usually priced correctly for what it is in the stock market because so many people participate in the stock market where it's rare that you either get a bad or good deal actually. Usually it's pretty fair because the market's not getting it wrong because you have massive price discovery through liquidity. The interesting thing that Warren Buffett always talks about is buying companies which are underneath. Well, you have PE ratios and you have like the dividend stock ratio and all these kind of things. But he basically uses, and I won't. It's like the very simplified version of it is that he buys things that the price is lower than what the valuation should be from what the dividend yield is. And that's pretty simple. And at the moment, that roughly speaking is $100 for Nike. So you are buying it undervalue. If
Mm.
you go by that if you go by that valuation of what the yield is. I did this like, sometimes you forget more than you forget shit you learn about 4 years ago, but I probably will do a deep dive on the equation again. And there is a whole strategy built on the basis of this. Obviously, it's a longer term strategy and it's harder to get the good deal because the market's bigger and it takes more time for you to get the good deal. It might take you 4 years for a stock to downtrend into good value. But we know that with alts, because it's so fucking, and Bitcoin even, Bitcoin and crypto, because it's so volatile, the market participants not very experienced. You get the good deals every fucking week, basically, because Bitcoin will do something which is, for instance, COVID. The stock market only went down 25%. Bitcoin went down like 90. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is the deals are better if you time the market correctly, which is hard to do. So there's loads of shit, man, which goes around. But I quite like the idea of just investing in high dividend stocks. That's kind of the same thing as investing in real estate that won't have massive potential capital appreciation, but it has the very high degree of certainty that you'll be able to rent it out. And
Mm.
again, real
You
estate's
just want
exactly
cash
the
flow
same. And
as
the
well.
more I learn about it, bro, the more I learn about it, the more it all makes perfect sense in all different markets. If you're if you're looking at a real estate area, because again, there's lots of liquidity, lots of people buying and selling, and lots of homes changing hands. What you can do is usually the area is always priced about fairly. It's hard to get the good deal, but you can. But usually, what you'll see is if the potential rental is low, but capital appreciation is high, then you get a different price to if the other way around. So if the rental yield is high and then the capital appreciation is low. So it's like you have to basically think about what you're betting on every single time. Are you betting on this area going up, but you might not have someone who's renting for 6 months because no one's going to live there? Because you got to think about it. If you're buying something which could go up in price massively, usually there's nothing there which is good. There's no
Mm.
shops, no roads, no this, no that. It's like in the middle of nowhere, and no one's going to rent. But you might get the rent, but it's high risk. But you might get the capital appreciation, so it's always a synergy. But if you buy in the marina, it's not going to jump up in price 15% or 20%. It's not. Everything's already built. You're getting the price you paid for because everything's around it. But then because there's lots of things in the area and you get lots of things you can do, and there's beaches and access, and all the restaurants and shops are there, people will rent it because they want to live next to those things. So it all comes around circle, bro. Like it's really the market is always everyone in the market is always trying to get the best value,
Mm.
and whether you're a buyer or a seller. So it's like it's always the seller's trying to get the highest price, the buyer's trying to get the lowest price. It's happening over thousands of properties every day. You're getting usually about right, and I would say where I bought mine at was pretty much exactly on fair value in the marina. I actually did manage to get a slightly better deal because I almost bought one on the 13th floor, exactly the same floor plan on the 13th floor. I almost bought that for 275, which is dirhams. So 700, maybe $800,000 with the refurb would be $1 million. So I then managed to, because Alex is my business partner in real estate, he then found literally a week after we inquired about purchasing the one on the 13th floor, he found the exact same floor plan on the 33rd floor. And I managed to get the 33rd floor for the same price as the 13th. So that means that
Okay.
that was
Yeah.
a good deal. That
Yeah.
guy was there was a distressed seller. Yeah, I got it for the same fucking price. And that was already quite low. So I don't know, I reckon if it's fair value, it's like 3 million dirhams, what it's valued now. And then with a big refurbishment, it's probably going to be 4 million, maybe be able to sell it for 4.5, which would be like 1.1, $1.2 million. And the market will grow in 6% a year anyway. So in 2 years' time, it'll be 12% more. And then you know how that works. It'll probably be all I'm betting on is potentially I get the rental yield off it. So I'm getting passive income. The price will rise slowly because of the refurbishment and the capital appreciation. If Bitcoin then has a black swan event and it's going to bumble around the bottom for 6 months, I might sell it and then use all that money to then go back into Bitcoin. So it's essentially what you're doing is I'm not using it as a way to make money, this property. I'm using it as a potential leverage to have a hedge if I ever need it in the future. Because if Bitcoin something happened and it went down to 4K, not going to happen, but maybe if it went down all the way down to 10K for some stupid reason, at least I have an asset which is not going to go down 90%. Because real estate will only go down maximum 15%, on average, even in a downturn. So anyway, yeah, that's my kind of thoughts on that.
Yeah, fair. I think that's a good place to leave it here. I'm gonna go have some dinner. Nice to speak to you,
Yeah,
Maxi boy.
I'm gonna get something to eat. Yeah,
I'll
brother.
catch you guys soon. Tomorrow, I guess, but it's gonna be 2 hours before because Friday night you gotta go see the Japanese honeys. You know how it is. But yeah,
Get in there, broski.
speak soon, brother. Have a great day, everyone, or evening wherever you are, and
You too,
I'll
mate. Speak soon.
catch you guys soon.